Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and felt that quiet ache in your chest? The one you can't explain, but you know it's there? Maybe you wake up every morning with a weight on your shoulders that no one else can see. You go through your routine, smile when expected, laugh when it's polite, but inside, something feels missing. Maybe it's your confidence, your spark, your purpose, or maybe you've just grown tired. Tired of trying and failing, tired of waiting for a sign, tired of wondering if this is all there is. You scroll through your phone and see others living the life you once dreamed of. They're achieving things, going places, smiling wide as if they've figured it all out. And you feel stuck. Not because you don't want more, but because you don't know where to begin anymore. And maybe you've tried before. Maybe you started something with passion, only to watch it fade the moment life got in the way. And now, a part of you wonders if it's too late. But deep down, even through the noise, you hear a whisper. It's quiet, but it refuses to die. It says, "You're not done yet." This isn't about being perfect. It's not about doing something grand or chasing some vague definition of success. It's about getting back up. It's about making one small decision today that could lead you somewhere new, somewhere better. It's about asking yourself, what if this time I didn't give up? Because the truth is, change doesn't come in fireworks or applause. It comes in silence, in choosing to stand when no one's watching, in picking yourself back up even when the world doesn't seem to care, in showing up for yourself again and again. So before you scroll past this or tell yourself maybe later, I want you to sit with one question. What will you be like after 1 year if you start trying today? Let that question echo for a moment. Let it pull at something inside you. Because this, right here, might just be the moment everything begins to change. You're not lazy, you're not broken, but you're tired, and there's a difference. Life has a way of slowly draining us without making a sound. It doesn't always come in the form of a big tragedy. Sometimes it's in the small, silent disappointments that build up over time. The missed chances, the ignored potential, the days that turn into weeks, into months, where nothing seems to move forward. And then one day you look up and wonder, how did I end up here? That's the thing about losing motivation. It creeps in quietly. It often disguises itself as rest when it's really just avoidance. You start saying things like, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I just don't feel like it today," hoping that the energy will magically return on its own. But it doesn't. Days become blurrier, your dreams smaller. You stop talking about them because you're afraid someone might ask why you haven't done anything about them. And the worst part, you start believing this is just how life is meant to be. You convince yourself that other people have more talent, more time, more luck, that they didn't grow up like you, that they didn't go through what you did, that their path was smoother, straighter, easier. And so you retreat. You tell yourself stories that justify staying still because moving forward feels like too much. But here's the truth that stings. It's not that you can't, it's that you're scared. Scared to try again and fail. Scared to hope and be disappointed. Scared that even if you give it your all, it still won't be enough. And those fears, they're valid. But they're also the very chains holding you back from the life you could have. So many people around you feel the same, but no one says it out loud. Because no one wants to admit they've lost their fire. No one wants to admit that some mornings getting out of bed already feels like a battle. And yet here you are, still standing, still listening, still holding on. You're not unmotivated because you're weak. You're unmotivated because you've been surviving for too long, without a clear reason to fight for something more. But what if that reason could be born today? Here's something no one tells you. You don't need a grand plan to change your life. You don't need to wake up tomorrow with every step mapped out. What you need is something much simpler.
a shift in direction. Just one small pivot, one honest moment where you say to yourself, I'm not okay with staying here anymore. That's where it starts. You don't need to run, you don't need to be loud, you just need to take one tiny step forward. That could mean waking up 30 minutes earlier, drinking more water, writing down your thoughts instead of bottling them up, moving your body, not to punish it, but to thank it, reading one page, saying no to one distraction, choosing one thing, just one, that you'll do differently today. And no, it won't change your life overnight, but it will do something far more powerful. It will change your direction. Think about this. A plane that shifts just 1 degree in its course doesn't look like it's going anywhere different at first, but fly long enough, and that tiny shift will land you in a completely different country. That's what happens when you commit to small efforts, repeated consistently over time. Not perfectly, not always enthusiastically, but faithfully. Motivation doesn't come before action. Action births motivation. You don't wait to feel inspired, you do something, and that feeling follows. It's like lighting a fire. You don't stand in front of the cold fireplace and wait to feel warm. You gather the wood, strike the match, and then the heat comes. So here's a new mindset. Progress over perfection. You will mess up. You will have bad days. But one bad day doesn't undo the work of 10 good ones. Don't fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking. You don't have to sprint. You just have to keep showing up. Give yourself permission to be a beginner, to be awkward, to fail and still be proud that you tried. The most successful, happiest, most fulfilled people you admire, they weren't born that way. They just kept going when others stopped. They showed up when no one clapped for them. They pushed through the resistance, again and again. And slowly, their life began to shift. So now ask yourself, not about the big goals, not about the perfect routine, but about today, right now. What is one small thing you can do? Not tomorrow, not next month, today. Because if you start today and you keep going, messy, tired, inconsistent, but determined, then 1 year from now, you won't even recognize the version of you who almost didn't begin. Let me tell you a story, not about someone famous, not about someone with followers or fame, but about someone you've probably never heard of, someone ordinary, and yet in many ways extraordinary. Her name was Lena. She was 29, she had a job she didn't love, bills that never stopped piling up, and dreams she buried so deep she barely remembered them. Every day looked the same. Wake up tired, go to work numb, come home drained. She scrolled through social media at night, comparing her life to the glossy images of people who seemed to have it all together. The more she scrolled, the heavier her chest felt. She kept asking herself, when did I stop trying? Lena used to dream of being a writer. As a child, she filled notebooks with stories. But life happened. Her parents got divorced, money got tight. She chose a safe major. Years passed. She told herself stories like, I'm not good enough, and who would even care what I write? One day, she broke down. Alone in her apartment, surrounded by takeout boxes and unopened mail, she sat on the floor and cried until her body went still. She felt empty. But in that silence, something strange happened. She didn't hear some divine voice or experience a dramatic revelation. It was smaller than that, softer. She whispered to herself, I don't want to feel like this next year. That was it. That one sentence changed everything. The next day, Lena didn't overhaul her life. She didn't quit her job. She didn't post anything about a new chapter. What she did was write. Just 10 minutes. In a journal no one would ever read. The day after that, she wrote again and again. She made no promises, just commitments to today. Some days she wrote nonsense. Some days she wrote through tears. Some days she didn't write at all, but she came back. A few months in, she started waking up earlier, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She read books she hadn't touched in years. She signed up for a local writing workshop. She met people. She submitted a short story to a magazine. It got rejected, then rejected again. But she kept writing. Exactly 1 year later, Lena stood in a small bookstore holding a copy of an anthology. Inside it, on page 117, was her story, her words, her name. But here's the thing, the real victory wasn't getting published. It was who she had become. Someone who showed up. Someone who didn't quit on herself. Someone who no longer asked, "What if I'm not good enough?" but instead said, "I'm doing it anyway." No one clapped for her on day one. No one noticed when she started. But 1 year later, everyone could see the light in her eyes that had come back. That's what 1 year of trying can do. So now ask yourself, what could your story be?
Maybe you're not Lena. Maybe your dream isn't to write or paint or build something. Maybe you just want to feel alive again. To wake up without dreading the day ahead. To look in the mirror and feel proud of the person staring back at you. To feel like you're moving towards something, even if no one else understands what that is. That's enough. That's more than enough. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a fresh start. All you need is one honest moment with yourself. One quiet decision. One step. And then another. And then another. You'll stumble. You'll want to quit. There will be days when progress feels invisible. But if you keep going, imperfectly, quietly, consistently, you'll get there. And when you do, you'll look back and realize something powerful. You weren't rebuilding your life. You were rebuilding yourself. The version of you 1 year from now is waiting. They're stronger, calmer, wiser. And they're so proud that you didn't give up. They remember this exact moment, the one you're in now, the moment you chose to try. So don't ask, will it be worth it? Ask, what will happen if I don't? Because 1 year from now, you'll either be glad you started or still wishing you had. And if there's even the tiniest part of you that's still hoping for more, then hold on to that. Protect it. Fight for it. Water it every day. Because from that one seed of hope, an entirely new life can grow. Start today. Just today. Then do it again tomorrow. And watch what happens.